Greetings dear friends on the Military Reporter channel. As always, we continue to make a selection of what is happening on the front line. In this footage you can see the testing of an anti-drone anti-aircraft system with PK machine guns and AK-74 assault rifles during firing ranges. This is exclusive first-person footage of the liberation of the Kursk region. This battle took place at the beginning of the year near the settlement of Zeleniy Shlyak. Two crews of armored vehicles of the 137th Guards Parachute and Airborne Regiment managed to drive the assault vehicles directly to the Ukrainian Armed Forces position in a wooded area, which made it possible to take it by storm literally from wheels. On the way, the Kokals tried to stop the vehicles with all their guns, but without success. The paratroopers did not waver and accomplished their combat task. An Ukrainian soldier demonstrates broken positions after Russian artillerymen used 120mm shells.
Пиздец, наружу хуя. Та це 120-ка, блядь. 80 таку хуйню не наворотить, блядь. Був охуєнний окоп, і тут завжди стояли, блядь, дивились, блядь. Хорошо, що нікого не було, блядь. Пиздец.
In the footage you can see the battle for Toretsk. These images of the US APC bombing through the eyes of the Ukrainian Armed Forces. An Ukrainian Armed Forces ground attack aircraft filmed the explosion of an American M113 APC with a paratrooper inside. The moment of the explosion was also filmed from the air by a Russian drone. In this footage you can see the 88th Brigade, Española, opening a school of anti-drone shooting with hunting rifles, as well as Kalashnikov rifles with a special shotgun cartridge. Smoothbore shotguns are much more effective than assault rifles against drones. Images of the Ukrainian Armed Forces UAV being hit by a 9K-35 Strela-10 surface-to-air missile system in the direction of Chasiv Yar. In this footage, a Russian reporter talked to local residents who survived the occupation. People went through a terrible ordeal. In 215 days, the enemy had thoroughly settled in Sudzha, and he fled quickly. Exclusive footage of the TOS-1A Santsik unit of the Ivanova airborne troops striking in Ukrainian Armed Forces concentration in the village of Chasiv Yar. Destruction of AFU armored vehicles on the Pokrovsky direction by fiber optic FPV drones, KVN. On this footage you can see the destruction of Ukrainian T-72AV and tank T-80U tank. Novorossiysk paratroopers Orlan, 10 multifunctional unmanned aerial vehicles detected an accumulation of Ukrainian armed forces infantry and corrected a strike by airborne forces artillery. Russian sniper Ivanova paratroopers destroyed 3 Baba Yaga-type hexacopters and up to a section of the Ukrainian armed forces overnight, disrupting their rotation to the Chasov Yar settlement. Footage of the destruction of a Ukrainian tank in Sumy region. Operators of the North Group strike UAVs carried out several strikes against enemy heavy equipment. Army and Bomber Aviation of the 11th Guards Army of the Air Defense Forces works against enemy targets in the area of responsibility of the East Group in the vicinity of Constantinople. The footage shows Russian tankers and infantry from the 4th OMSBR on the Toretsk direction. In this direction of the front, Russian soldiers stormed controlled territories of the Ukrainian armed forces. Destruction of Ukrainian soldiers in sewage pipes by attack drones. The Ukrainian armed forces Ninja Turtles failed to hide from Russian FPV drones. Their hideout was identified and eliminated. In this footage you can see assault of Kursk Pogrebki. The 34th Brigade stormed the trenches of Ukrainian soldiers. This morning, the Ukrainian armed forces positions in the Kursk border region were stormed by the 2nd Assault Company of the mountainous 34th Independent Guards Motorized Rifle Brigade. The Russian fighters stormed the Ukrainian armed forces' trenches in a daring attack, pelted them with grenades and cleared them of militants.
Да.
Novorossiysk paratroopers Orlan, 10 multifunctional unmanned aerial vehicles detected an accumulation of Ukrainian armed forces infantry and corrected a strike by airborne forces artillery. A Northern Group soldier gives a brief tour of the shelter that has become his second home. Footage of combat operations by assault teams of the Center Troops Tank Regiment during the liberation of the village of Nadezdinka in the Donetsk People's Republic. Servicemen of the 92nd Sapper Regiment of the North Group of troops continue to demine homestead plots, agricultural land and roads from unexploded ammunition of the AFU in the liberated settlements of Sudzha district, Kursk region. The aftermath of a Russian armed forces FPV drone landing on an enemy bandit vehicle, somewhere on the front line. These images east of Pokrovsk in the village of Tarasovka. Ukrainian soldiers boarded up a building and barricaded the windows and holes in the walls. And if in a small private house are brave stormtroopers of the 33rd Motorized Rifle Regiment of the 20th Guards of the 20th MSSD, can use explosives Kalabakov, an independent development of the frontline soldiers, an explosive balloon, then it is more effective to use drones on a Capitol building. Battles in the Kharkiv direction. The North destroyed a BBM with Ukrainian soldiers. The calculation of the FPV group, antagonist, of the Northern Guards uncovered a landing of Ukrainian paratroopers in a wooded area in Kharkiv region. The target was promptly hit by a kamikaze drone, as a result of which the armored vehicle Kozak, with Ukrainian soldiers nearby, were destroyed. The Seversky mortar also worked on the infantry that had managed to enter the landing. During aerial patrols in the Sumy direction, the UAV operator of the Seversky UAV uncovered a point of temporary deployment of the AFU. The FPV crew of the North UAV lifted a bird into the sky on fiber optics and sent it to strike enemy vehicles, depriving the AFU of the opportunity to quickly leave the deployment site during shelling. On the border of Sumy and Kursk regions, a drone destroyed a Swedish combat vehicle BGBV-90, a very rare BREM based on SDRF-90.
Прицел 581, 1.24.
Готовности, один огонь.
Artillerymen of the Center Group of troops disrupted the rotation of AFU units on the Krasnoarmyskoye direction.
Чаще всего работаем по укрепрайонам, по блиндажам.
That's all, dear friends. Subscribe to the channel, put likes, and don't forget to click on the bell to not miss new episodes. Leave your comments. Your opinion is very important to us. See you soon.